Hey everyone, Chelsea here from A Frugal Homestead. Today we are going to make some fresh tomato basil sauce. So I'm making tomato sauce. It's like a basil sauce. I'm gonna can it, but I'm headed out to my chicken coops to get some fresh basil. You can hear them. They're saying hello. So here's my basil. It's not looking too bad. It's getting closer to the end of the season, and so things are hot and tired. So I'm just gonna cut off a couple sections here. I thought I had another one. There it is. Because I need about 1/4 cup of basil. So the first step in this tomato sauce is washing all our tomatoes and then pulling the core out. So I have lots of tomatoes. I have Romas, I have some Early Girls, I have some Bonnie's Best. I have all sorts of tomatoes. So we're just going to do a blend of tomatoes. And like I said, we're just going to take the tomato, and I have this little core. See if I can do it left-handed, probably not. And you just kind of dig it in. And I usually go around it slightly. And then you can just kind of pop the core right out, just like that. So it's nice and clean. And we just pop it into this bowl, and then we will chop those up. All right, we have cored all the tomatoes. We have 2 bowls of them. So the next step is we're actually going to cut up a cup of onions and then 8 cloves of garlic. And we've got our basil that is drying off, and we'll mince that up here in a little bit as well. Now, if you've never cut garlic or you don't know the trick, you just push a knife on it and you press, and the skins come right off. There's another one where you can put it like in a mason jar and shake it. My husband likes that trick. It doesn't work as well for me. So I'm going to do this with my garlic and then chop up my onion. So we've put the onions and the garlic in a pot here. We're adding just about a tablespoon of olive oil, and we're just going to let that cook for a little bit. And as that cooks, we're going to come over here and we are going to quarter our tomatoes, and they'll be all ready to add to that pot once the onions and garlic have cooked down. All right, so those onions and garlic are tenderizing. I'm going to turn our pot down just a little bit, and we're going to add our tomatoes here. And I might add just a little bit of water just to make sure those tomatoes don't stick as I continue to add tomatoes. But we're just going to simmer this down until those tomatoes are really tender and kind of falling apart. Adding the rest of these tomatoes here. Starting to get more. And I don't know if I mentioned this. This recipe calls for 20 pounds of tomatoes. It's a lot of tomatoes. But once you cook them down, it doesn't seem like very much. Takes a while to cook down too. So prepare yourself to sit here and babysit for a while. All right, last bowl. See if it fits. Just barely. In a bigger pot. And like I said earlier, this is 20 pounds of tomatoes. It's a lot of tomatoes. So this needs to simmer down. The recipe says for about 20 minutes. We're probably going to go a little longer. I am going to put the lid on this just to keep some of the steam inside. But I will come back and stir it regularly over the next 20 minutes or more. While those tomatoes are stewing, I took my basil here and took off the good leaves, and I minced it up pretty fine. And this is going to go in our sauce after we strain it. It smells so good. Makes me want to eat some pizza. Cooked tomatoes, don't they look great? We did cook them for about 25 minutes, so just a little bit longer than the 20-minute mark, just because there were so many in here. But I'm going to move it over and show you my strainer that I'm using. Alright, so this is the tomato press that I'm using. It's the Weston. I got it this year for the first time and I've really liked it. It's super easy to use. So let me just kind of demonstrate how easy. So you're coming over here. We add our tomatoes in top. You can fill it up as much as you want. Go to that point. And then you just spin. And out into this bowl comes the juice of the tomatoes. And then out this side is the pulp and the seeds. So this is a great way to get rid of the seeds and the pulp. And I got it this year knowing that we were going to be doing a lot of tomato products. It also comes with a little plunger, if you will. So if you have some big pieces that are just not going down, you can kind of plunge them down. So we're just going to keep adding from our big bowl of tomatoes here into this. We may have to add a second bowl because we get so much of the juice, but that's kind of what we're going to do for a little while. Sit here and just strain our tomatoes out. Alright, here is our sauce. We poured it all back into this big stock pot. Next we're going to add our basil. So we just have it here. Just going to push it in. Stir it in. And now we're going to set this on a medium heat and just simmer it until it goes down from here about halfway. So we want to lose a lot of that liquid. Now this is going to take a while, 35, 40 minutes, maybe longer, just to let it to simmer down until it has a much thicker consistency of a tomato sauce or a pasta sauce. We have cooked down that tomato sauce. About halfway down now, and it is ready to go into the jars. So let's go get the jars ready. To start, I already put some lemon juice, a tablespoon of lemon juice in each of the bottoms of my jars. And now I'm just going to ladle my tomato sauce right into the jars. And again, this is something that you could cook down even further if you want really thick sauce. I'm planning to use this tomato basil sauce for like pasta sauce. And we usually use a 16 to 20 ounce jar of pasta sauce. So these quart size are perfect for that for us. So we'll just continue to fill these up, and then we will put them in the water bath canner for us about 45 minutes at our elevation. The recipe calls for 35 minutes per pint, and then you typically add 5 minutes for a quart, and then our elevation adds an additional 5. So that's kind of where we're at. Alright, jars are lidded up and sealed. Just put them in here. Put them in our water bath canner. Make sure everybody has a good little seat in there. And then we'll put that lid on. Notice how they're covered in about 1 inch of water. That's what you want. We might add just a little bit more water. We're going to put them in here, timer for 45 minutes, and we're good to go. Here are the finished tomato sauces, and they look awesome. Aren't they beautiful? Now we'll just take them out and leave them here on the countertop for about 24 hours, and then we can label them and put them away. And that is how you make homemade tomato sauce.